You have a problem that looks like this. Do you guys see it? We didn't do it yesterday. Okay, and let's do it today. Okay, now this only works if f and g are inverses. All right, so here it does say f and g are inverses. Is that in your notes? Do you see it? Yeah. Okay, so on the back of your notes. Okay, f and g are inverses. If you want the derivative of an inverse, okay, then it's just a formula. G prime equals, what do you guys write first? It's on the back of your notes. Okay, G prime equals 1 over f prime. Okay, this is your formula, all right? If you had f prime of something, let's say if this were 2, you'd say 1 over g prime. Okay, so that's the first thing you do. You just write your formula. This is your formula. This is only true if f and g are inverses. All right, and then what you do is you know that this is actually the x value of your g. Okay, in the parentheses, it's always the x value. So what that means is that this inside number here must be the x value of your what? F. Everybody good with that? Okay, so if this is the x value of your g, this must be the x value of f. Inside the parentheses, it's always the x value. All right, then you go onto the side of your paper and you do a little micrograph. Okay, I made that word up yesterday, so I'm going to use it as much as I can. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to say, if this is the x value of my g, there are corresponding parts here if f and g are inverses. If this is the x value of my g, so it's some point, right? So it's 2 comma something. That means this up here must be something comma 2. That's just the rule for inverses. If this is 2 comma something, this must be something comma 2. All right, so the question is, can I find the x value of my f? It's like a puzzle. I need to figure out what this number is. Well, this number here is going to be the same as this number here. Okay, so if I know the y value of my f is 2, can I figure out what the x value of my f is? Okay, I've got this equation. All right, well, remember, f of x is just a code name for y. So this right here is the y value of my f, which is 2, is equal to x squared plus 1. Go ahead and solve this. If I subtract both sides by 1, I'll get 1 is equal to x squared. So therefore, x is equal to plus or minus 1. Okay, so that is the value of my x, which is this number right here. But there's a little bit of a caveat. I can't put 2 numbers in here. Okay, so which number is it? It's where x is greater than 0. So which one would I pick? Positive 1 or negative 1? Positive 1. So I'm going to say x is 1. So that means if my y value is 2, my x value is 1. If this is 1, 2, this is 2, 1. That's just how inverses go. And then what number goes right here? 1. It's the x value of your f. Okay? And then I just plug into this formula and figure out what 1 over f prime 1 is. All right? Well, can I figure out what f prime is if I know what f is? Sure. F prime of x is equal to 2x. But I don't want f prime of x. I want f prime of 1. So this will be f prime of 1 is equal to 2 times 1. And what's 2 times 1? 2. Okay, be careful. My answer is not 2, though. The denominator is 2. So what's my full answer? 1 over 2, 1/2. All right, so that's how you do this problem. Let's do another one. So guys, every problem is very similar. Oops. Let's go to this little table problem, kind of, this one. Okay, can you guys make a correction, please, in your notes? This here, yours says 4, but it should be -4. So can you change this right here to -4? All right, okay, so they give you a whole bunch of things about f and f prime, and it says f and g are inverses. This is the key thing. If you know that f and g are inverses, then you write the formula. G prime equals what? 1 over f prime. Like, that's just how you start out. That's always your answer. If you could find this answer. Yes, yes. Only if they're inverses. Yes. Okay, so then what you do is you say, all right, inside the parentheses, I know that this parentheses is an x value. They're always x values. X value of which function, though? Of my g. Okay, so that means inside this parentheses must be the x value of my f. All right, go ahead on the side of your paper, put a little micrograph, okay? And these numbers always have to be like the switch of each other. I know the x value of my g, so the coordinate point would be 3 comma something. What does that mean about the coordinate numbers of my f? Something comma 3, nice. Okay, so this is 3 comma something, this is something comma 3. Now the question is, can I find my x value of my f? So come up to all these things that they give you. If I know my y value for my f is 3, could you tell me what my x value is for my f? 2. Do you guys see where we're reading that? Okay, so that means this is going to be 2, that means this is going to be 2, and that means this is going to be 2, because this is the x value of my f. Okay, and then you just figure out what this is, and that's the answer. What is f prime of 2? -4. So this answer is 1 over -4. Or you could say negative 1 over 4. Same thing. Okay, that was pretty nice. I think we're done with our notes. Is that right, guys? Can we go look at our homework? Let me go to the solutions for your homework. Huh? Oh, wait, no, we're going to go over our formula sheet too. I just realized there's one more question, I think, on your notes. Or did I do all of them? Yeah, I think there's one more. Okay, this one right here. This one right here, I think. Is it this one? Okay. All right, let's do this one, guys. Same thinking here. F and G are inverses. Okay. So then what you do is you write the formula. 1, if this is G prime, then this is 1 over what? F prime. Set yourself up. Okay. So if this is 1 over F prime, okay, Ryan, can you put that away? Then what you know is this right here is the x value of my G, right? It's the x value of my G. Well, then what goes in this parentheses then? The x value of your F. Everybody good with that? If this is the x value of your G, this is the x value of your F. Okay, now how do I find the x value of my F? Go into another part of your paper, do a little micrograph. Okay, this is the x value of my G. So I put a point on the G and put 5 there. That is my x value, 5 comma something. All right, what does that mean about the corresponding point on the F? It's something comma 5. Nice. All right, can you tell me what this x value of my F is right here? 4. Very good. So you're reading this right here. This is 4. That means this is 4. That means this is 4. Can you tell me what f prime of 4 is? 3. So the answer is not 3 though, guys. What is it? 1/3. All right, now we finished our notes, right? Okay, let's go look at your homework, guys. These are the solutions. All the odd solutions were online, so let me read to you the even solutions. Check your work as you're going. Number 4 is 1/8. Number 6 is negative 1 over 11. Number 8 is 12. Number 10 is 1/4. Number 6 is negative 1 over 11. And number 12 is 4/3. And number 13 is 1. Okay, does anybody need anything repeated? You're good? The odd answers are already online. Okay, guys, go ahead and take a look at what you guys are doing and see if you guys have any questions. On the other periods, I'm trying to think. A lot of people asked about number 10. I think it was 10. Number 10 and 6, I believe. I'm not sure, actually. You guys tell me what help you guys need.
You said 10 was 4.
What'd you say?
You just said when you were reading out the answer, you said number 10 was 1/4.
Yeah, but people had trouble doing it. So yeah, if you couldn't get that, then let me know. Yeah, you guys want to see number 10? Okay. Okay, let's do it. So I have them written here somewhere. I just got to find it. Okay, here's number 10. All right, so you know the questions aren't all going to be easy, right? So, and especially if trig is involved. All right, so let's look at number 10. The main idea is always the same, but of course, the derivatives can get harder and the trig can get harder. All right, so if you look at this, f and f to negative 1 are inverses, right? F to negative 1, Ryan, if you don't remember, is actually the way you write inverse. Okay, f to negative 1 is inverse of f. Yes, okay, but I don't like to call it f and f to negative 1, so I just call this g. So I just change the name of it, okay? You don't have to change the name of it if you don't want to, but I just make all my f negative 1s equal to g so that I don't have to work with f to negative 1, okay? So this becomes, don't forget the...
Not 1 over g, or is it just g?
No, it's just g. Okay, it's just g. The 1 over g only comes in when you're writing the formula. Okay, So this is a given right here, g prime square root of 3. So this is not 1 over g. I just copy this. Okay, just like the other problems, I just copy this and I write the formula. What is the formula for g prime? 1 over f prime. Very good. Okay, so then I say, this was given to me. This is the x value of my g. In this parentheses, it's going to be the x value of my what? Of my f. Go to the side of your paper and do a little micrograph. Okay, do a little micrograph. Okay, what do I know? Of these 2 points, what do I know? The square root of 3. Now, what is that? That is the x value of my g. So let me put that in. That means g is square root of 3 comma something, which means I know the corresponding point for f. That would be something comma square root of 3. Okay, you guys good so far? So all the things we're doing, we're just repeating. Okay, now what we need to do is figure out what the x value of my f is. So if I come back up here, okay, I've got an equation for f. F of x is equal to tangent x. This square root of 3, guys, okay, and this is where students go wrong. Do I replace it into f of x or do I put it into x? Which one is square root of 3? Is it the x value of my f or is it the y value of my f? It's the y value, right? Because it's on the right side. So then you say square root of 3 is equal to tangent x. All right, let me rewrite this because this is... Make it a derivative. Not yet. Well, I'm trying to find the derivative, but before I find the derivative, I need to find this number here. Okay, so the first thing you do is find this number, then you do the derivative. Okay, so this number here is actually my x. Everybody good with that? If I can find this x value, that would be this number. Well, what number, if I take the tangent of it, I'll get square root of 3. And think about trig functions. This is actually an angle. If it sits next to the tan, sine, or cosine, it's actually an angle. So what angle, if you take the tangent value of it, are you going to get square root of 3? Go back to your unit circle. You guys need to memorize this. If ever the tangent value is square root of 3, you get a tall rectangle in here. Put in a tall rectangle, okay? And all of these points are actually square root of 3. It might be positive square root of 3. It might be negative square root of 3, but all of these are square root of 3s. If you ever have square root of 3 over 3, okay, those tangent values are like the short rectangle. Okay, so these points right here, okay, the short, I made it a little bit lower than I would want, but something like that. These angles here, these are your square, these tangent values are square root of 3 over 3. These tangent values are square root of 3. I just memorize it. The way I tell the difference though is because square root of 3 is tall, and if you divide by 3, you get short. Does that make sense? So that's how I remember it. So this is square root of 3. All these points are square root of 3. And so, guys, I want positive square root of 3 though. So if you think about tangent, which quadrant, let's see, think about the quadrants. Which quadrants will give me positive? Right? Which ones would be give me a tangent value of positive? This one for sure, right? And isn't tangent sine over cosine or y over x? Which other one would give me a positive number? Right? Because negative divided by negative would be positive. So these are my two quadrants. Okay, so the answer is either going to be this angle here or this angle here. All right. Look at what they tell you here. Which one do I have to pick? Yeah, the top one. Everybody good there? So the question is, what is this angle here? Maybe you could tell me in degrees. If I'm looking at that top one up here, it's I'm going higher than that. It's 60. I know I drew it look like 45, but it's a tall rectangle. So it's way up here. It's 60 degrees. What is that in radian land? Pi over 3. So this is actually pi over 3. All right. So this angle here is pi over 3, which means this x here is equal to pi over 3. This is the x value of my f. So this over here is pi over 3. This over here is pi over 3. And this over here is pi over 3. This is the x value of my f. I know it has a pi in it, okay? But you guys cannot be prejudiced against Greeks, okay? It has a pi in it, leave it alone. All right, so if I can just get the derivative of f and plug in pi over 3, I'll have my answer. So it's not as easy as it looks because guess what we have to take the derivative of? Tangent x. All right, let's do it. The derivative of tangent x is what? Secant squared x, all right? Now, I don't like this notation. This notation is very hard to understand. What you have to know is that secant x is really the quantity secant x, okay? And if you square it, the square goes on the outside like that. Okay, so this is really, f prime of x is really secant x times secant x. And the reason I'm spelling this all out is because now I have to replace x with pi over 3. So this means f prime of pi over 3 is equal to secant pi over 3 times secant pi over 3. Okay, take it one step at a time. How in the world can I figure out what secant pi over 3 is? That's not on the unit circle. What is secant related to? Secant is 1 over what? Cosine. Very good. Secant is 1 over cosine. Okay, that's a definition of secant. So this f prime pi over 3 is equal to, this right here is going to be 1 over cosine of pi over 3 times 1 over cosine pi over 3. You have to change it to cosine because nobody knows what secant of pi over 3 is. Okay, but you know secant is 1 over cosine. All right, now the question is, okay, let me go look at my unit circle. Pi over 3, you guys said was here at 60 degrees. Okay, what are my coordinates there at pi over 3? Isn't it 1/2 comma square root of 3 over 2? Okay, so what's cosine of pi over 3? The cosine value. Emily, you're with us? What's cosine value? 1/2, right? This is 1/2. This is 1/2. Guys, what's 1 divided by 1/2? 2. So this is 2 times 2. What's 2 times 2? Okay. Now my answer though is not 4. What is my answer? 1/4. Do you see why? Okay. The 4 is just this denominator here. All right. But your whole answer, you got to go back to the original formula, is 1 over this denominator, which is 4. What other questions do you guys have? Number 1? Oh, number 11. Okay. That's a little table right there. Okay. No, it's not the table. Okay, I didn't do number 11, so let me go ahead and copy it. Okay, so guys, we're looking at number 11. You want to know the derivative of the inverse of f. Okay, once again, the f and g are inverses. So instead of calling this f of -1, I'm going to call this g prime of 5. Don't forget the little derivative, okay? So on the side here, I'm going to say, I just called f of -1 equal to g. The reason is because I don't want to use f of -1. If you want to, then that's fine. And if you don't get it confused, that's fine. But like when you have to do -1 and then take a derivative, I kind of get all those exponents like all messed up. All right, so then what I do is I write what I'm trying to find. Okay, write your formula, guys. What's the formula? 1 over f prime, right? Okay, this right here is the x value of which function? G, right? Okay, I'm looking for the x value of which function? F. All right, go look on the side of your paper, draw a little micrograph, okay? I know the x value of my G, okay? But if I know the x value of my G, I also know the y value of my what? My F. Okay, so there it is. This is 5 comma something. This is something comma 5. Go back up to what they give you. What is this x value here if y is 5? 4. Okay, so I'm going to put 4 there, put 4 there, put 4 there. What's my f prime of 4? What's that? 2/3. So this is 1 over 2/3. Guys, what's 1 over 2/3? Flip it. What is it? 3 halves. Is that right? Okay, so that is my answer. Be careful, guys. A lot of times when people flip it, they add a negative for some reason, or they take away the negative. The negative stays if it's there. It goes, you know, it doesn't, if it's not there, you don't add it. Okay, so this is just flipping it. All right, what other questions do you guys have? Number 9. Okay, guys, let's look at number 9. This is a good one. It's similar to number 10. Okay.
Oh, Miss Chang, I
Yeah.
remember you said we had a test on Thursday. Is that true?
It's next Wednesday. Are you going to be here? Oh, yeah. I don't know when their test is, but yours is on Wednesday. Okay. G prime of 1/2. Okay, that's what we're trying to find. F and G are inverses. Yes, they are. Okay, so this is a derivative of the inverse problem. Okay, go ahead, set it up. What's your answer going to be? If this is what you're trying to find, you copy it, and then what's your answer going to be? 1 over what? F prime. Okay. All right, so all you do is you write what you're trying to find, and then write the equation. All right, so this 1/2 is the x value of your G. All right, and so inside this parentheses is the x value of my what? F, okay. Draw a little micrograph over here, guys. F and G. What I know is the x value of my G. So do a little point, and that's going to be 1/2 comma something. Well, if this is 1/2 comma something, then this is something comma 1/2. Okay, those are called corresponding points. They always have them on inverse functions. All right. Now, the question is, can I find the x value of my f? If I know that y value of my f is 1/2, so here I am right here, that means 1/2 is equal to sine x. Can I find the x value? Think about your unit circle. At what angle? Remember, if x sits next to the trig function, if it sits next to sine or cosine or tangent, this is an angle. So I'm going to ask you, at what angle is my sine value 1/2? Think about it, guys. At what angle will I go up by 1/2? You guys see it? Here and where else? Here. Okay, what is this angle over here? Pi over 6. Okay, how did I get that? And why didn't I choose this one? Because right here it says just stay on the right side. It says from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2, so that's just the right side. All right, if I know my x value is pi over 6, then this is pi over 6, this is pi over 6, and this is pi over 6. Don't fret because there's a pi in it, okay? It's okay. We're allowed to use Greek letters here, okay? All right, let's go ahead and figure out what f prime of pi over 6 is. I know what f is. F is sine x. How do I get f prime? What's the derivative of sine x, guys? Cosine x, all right? But I don't want f prime of x. I want f prime of what? Not 1/2. Oh, well, yeah, kind of.
Oh, well, pi over 6, right?
Yeah, cosine of pi over 6. Okay, now look at where pi over 6 is. What's the cosine value there?
Is it 1/2 or 3 over 2? I can't remember.
Well, it's the far one, right? Because it's the x value. So it's square root of 3 over 2. Okay, so this is going to be square root of 3 over 2. So guys, this is my derivative. So it's 1 divided by square root of 3 over 2. And so guys, we're going to flip it. So if you flip it, you get what? 2 over square root of 3. And if you wanted to rationalize it, if this were a free response question, you can leave it like this. If it were a multiple choice question, the answer might be rationalized. So what you need to do is multiply by square root of 3 over 3, and that would be the rationalized answer if it were multiple choice. Okay, what other questions are you having trouble with? Number 6. Okay, guys, let's look at number 6. Okay, so all the problems are the same. You can just see that sometimes the algebra is a little bit difficult or the derivative might be a little bit tricky. Okay, but all the problems are done the same way. All right, find the value of G prime if you know F and G are inverses. So make sure you understand though, F and G have to be inverses, okay? Find the value of G prime. So I'm gonna write down G prime of 2. Everybody good with that? Go ahead and write your formula, guys. G prime of 2 is equal to what? 1 over F prime of something. All right, this right here, this 2, this is always an x value. So it's an x value of my G. Okay, what is this missing parentheses right here? That is the x value of my F. Go to the side of your paper, put an F and a G, and go ahead and figure out which point you know. The only point I know here is the x value of my G. So I come up here, I put in a point, and that's 2. If this is 2 comma something, then guess what? This is something comma 2. Okay, now look, I'm looking for the x value of my f. I still don't have it because that would go in this blank right here. Okay, so let's go look at what I'm given. I'm given something comma 2. And so this is the y value of my f. Do you guys see that? Now be careful. The number one thing students do wrong is they stick the 2 right here. Is this the x value of my f? No, it's the y value. So you have to stick the 2 into the f of x. Okay, so you get 2 equals 3x to the 4th plus x. Now what you're gonna have to do is solve this. This is very difficult to solve actually. Factoring out the x isn't gonna work because you can't factor unless you have something that's equal to 0. So if I get this to be 0 and I try to factor, it's pretty much impossible for me. So what you're gonna have to do, okay, if you don't have a calculator, okay, and you won't have a calculator, what you have to do if you don't have a calculator is you do what you do on your test. What is it that you do on your test? You just guess, okay? You just guess. Try x equals 0, 1, -1. If it's a really hard problem, it might be 2 or -2. Okay, very rarely does it go to 3 or -3. So let's just try it. Try 0.
Why couldn't you just factor it and get the 2?
It won't work. Watch.
Okay, well, I believe you. You're good.
Oh, I can show you. I mean, this has to be a squared. Does that make sense for this to factor? A quadratic, yeah. So you can't factor it. But you could put it in your calculator. It probably would work, but you're not going to have a calculator. So let's go ahead and put in x equals 0. If this is 0 and this is 0, does that equal 2? Does that equal 2? No. Okay, let's not do x equals 0. Let's try x equals 1. Okay, if this is 1, so that's 1 raised to the 4th power plus 1. Okay, 1 raised to the 4th power is 1. So 1 times 3 is 3. Is 3 plus 1 equal to 2? No, actually, I think -1 will work. Try -1. X equals -1. Okay, that would be 3 times -1 raised to the 4th power plus -1. But adding -1 is really -1. Okay, guys, make sure you understand this. This is exponents before multiplication. Okay, so it's not 3 times 1 raised to the 4th. It's -1 to the 4th power. What's -1 times -1 times -1 times -1? If you do it 4 times, +1. So this is 3 times +1 minus 1. And again, it's multiplication before subtraction. So what's 3 times 1? 3, right? So 3 minus 1 is 2. So this works. So x equals -1 works. So that means that x is -1, the y of the g is -1, and finally this right here is -1, which is what we were trying to find in the first place. Now, what in the world is f prime? Can I find it? If I know f, can I find f prime? Yes, so f prime is equal to 12x cubed plus 1. F prime of -1 is equal to 12 times -1 cubed plus 1. Okay, you guys tell me what this answer is. This is -12 plus 1, which is -11. Be very careful. What a lot of students do wrong here is they multiply the 12 and the -1 together, and then they raise it to the 3rd power. And do you see that that's the wrong order of operations? Okay, so you need to do exponents before multiplication. This is -1. Okay, so what that means is this right here is not -1, -11. This right here is -11. So your answer, guys, is -1/11. Okay, Colton?